Thank you, Ellen. Good evening to everybody. So, REFLOW. REFLOW is a big dream and a big European project. It's a large-scale project involving 27 partners across all of Europe. And we have quite a big dream because we're dreaming about circular economy. And it's, of course, a very complex question because it's different everywhere. And therefore, we in fact do it with 6 cities, 6 pilot cities that come with us for this next 3 years and explore circular economy. These are our cities. We have Milano in Italy, Cluj-Napoca in Romania, Paris in France, Weile in Denmark, Berlin in Germany, and of course, us in Amsterdam. And each of them actually focuses on a different stream. For Milano, it is agri-food, and they work with their municipal markets. Cluj-Napoca focuses on energy efficiency. Paris actually focuses on a fair tracker, so understanding all of those material streams that come out of fairs and events. For Weile, it's circular plastics. Berlin, heat waste. And for us in Amsterdam, we're lucky enough, it's textiles. So within this European project, we have many different experts, and we actually somehow group them and they represent different themes and a different approach for each part under which we run REFLOW. So how does that look like? We have a theme of people and businesses because, I mean, cities are made of this, aren't they? And then, of course, materials, which is our main focus. Governance structures, so how do we bring everybody together and how do we make this flawless also? And technology, how can technology aid us in this transition? For the city of Amsterdam, we have chosen to start with materials. And this is quite a big challenge, but also quite interesting. So what we started to do in the first year, together with our partners at Metabolic, was actually to start to uncover and find out what does the material streams for textiles looks like in Amsterdam. And what I'm going to show you now, this is a huge chart packed with information. Way too much information, but don't worry, I'm going to try to walk you through it. So what we see here, from left to right, are actually the amounts of raw materials that are needed in order to produce and distribute the textiles that we consume here in Amsterdam, that Ellen was mentioning earlier. And it's quite a lot. But of course, we can't focus on everything. So we've decided to actually focus on the last little bit of this huge graph. So I want you to have a peek at the top and at the bottom. What you see here actually is, unfortunately, more than 11,000 tons of textiles that have been discarded and unfortunately not discarded correctly. This is quite a shame, and it's quite a lot of materials. What you see here below, instead, is the happy side, because these are 2,500 tons of textiles that are being recycled. Though when you put them next to each other, you really wish that those 2,500 tons were a lot more in comparison to the top. So this is how we also started to design our process in REFLOW and how we decided to design a strategy. We want this amount to grow enormously and the top part to go down a little bit. This is a huge challenge and actually became even a bigger challenge because we are in a pandemic, that we want to face it or not, that also has consequences for textiles. What I'm about to show you is this picture. These are 150 tons of textiles that unfortunately could not be processed due to the pandemic. It's quite a shame. That number might be even higher now. These were numbers from pictures from June of materials that were collected but could not be processed. This makes our challenge even bigger. But hey, it's circular economy, so come on, we can make it happen, and I'm sure that together we will find solutions also to this. In order to find and design really what we wanted to work about, we actually started to explore by ourselves within the REFLOW team, what is our vision for circularity and textiles in Amsterdam? And the graph behind you is how we wish the textile industry would look fully. This is a dream, but it's not too far away because it is happening here and there. So what you see here next actually is our strategy. So what we want to do is to increase the amount of collected textiles. This will provide feedstock for the recycling industry, which will again supply all of us with beautiful products that also contain recycled fibers. In order to do this, we have defined 3 entry points. This is the first one. So we, of course, want to extend the life cycle of textiles and all of the textile products, because when we talk about textiles, we're talking about clothing, but also all your home textiles. So if we can extend that life cycle by repairing, reusing, and revaluing, we can actually reduce the amount of textile that is being discarded. And when we discard, we need to find a way of discarding correctly. All of this will bring us a bit closer to our goals, so decreasing the need and usage of virgin fibers and hiring the one-off recycled ones. And last but not least, allows us to then focus on design for circularity. What is our strategy? Our strategy is actually to bring a lot of the partners needed together, because alone this is not going to happen. The city is ours, and we have to do this together. And it's not just the city, we need the entire Netherlands. So what we do is actually try to work also with creatives and designers. Many fashion and textile designers really want to take a step towards sustainability and circular economy. And we want to bring them on board on this trajectory, on this journey that we want to undertake. But of course, all the citizens, again, we can make a lot of difference together, as well as the policymakers, to make this reality happen and to really push us forward and understand back and forth how we can make it happen differently. They, of course, need the textile industry, because without them, we're not going anywhere, but also those circular initiatives that are really striving hard, and there are many in Amsterdam and in our surroundings, to together become what we call our circular heroes. What are our concrete outcomes to achieve this at the moment? We're more or less 1 year and a half into the project, and this is one of our first results. This is a beautiful textile life cycle booklet, all written out by our partners at BMA Techne, Gerbrings and Anton Luiker. And what they did is actually analyze all different information regarding each of the steps of the wheel that I showed you earlier, and write it out into a booklet. Because many of us want to find this information and are looking for more information, but it's not always easy. And this is a way also to get acquainted much more with the textile and clothing industry and how we can reach the circular economy. This booklet will be published very soon, so actually, if you want to have a peek of it or a copy, you'll be able to download it. So I suggest you do have a look at our social media. At the end of this presentation, I will introduce you to that too, or drop us an email. And this booklet is really meant not just for designers or the industry, it's actually also for citizens and educators. Many teachers come to us and want to teach much more about circular economy. And together we can actually build up a booklet that is comprised of both of the content, the analysis, but also facts and figures and wonderful interviews to the ones that are making this happen or striving very hard for many years to make this happen. Because circular economy is a process that actually took many years and will take us a lot more years. We also do many collaborations and events. So there will be evenings like tonight, like this LIVECAST and the one of next week, and some more events like this in December, as well hands-on workshop to really get acquainted with that materiality, play around with the materials, see how else we can work with these recycled textiles or with discarded garments. But also panel discussions and round tables to bring again together all of this conversation, have the discussion and find a way through it. But as well, research with academies. Actually, tomorrow we are going to visit that warehouse that I showed you in the picture before, where all of these textiles are collected. And we will do this together with the students of the Master Industrial Design at KBK. And finally, but definitely not the least one, research with other designers and creatives. In parallel to this, led by the municipality, there's in collaboration with the Amsterdam Metropolitan Region and the Amsterdam Economic Board, they've been designing and sketching also a process to design a roadmap towards those ambitious goals of 2025, 2030, and 2050. And they will be bringing together policymakers, but also educational institutes and representatives thereof, and actors from both the collecting and recycling industry as well as the textile industry in a series of roundtable discussions. If you're interested also in joining these, drop us an email, because I'm sure we can make a spot for you. And here we are. I mean, this is our dream for Amsterdam and circular economy. And I hope somehow we can find a way for all of you to join in the many different forms that we will take. And we will be launching much more in the year after of this program. And these are our contact details. So I will stand here. You can find us on Instagram, but also drop us an email. Thank you.